Hey there. It's another beautiful day. Let's watch some stuff.
$750. $750. Here's $8 billion. Here's $8 billion. You guys over across the ocean, take our $8 billion, but here's $750 for you.
Has been impacted. And the federal relief and assistance that we have been providing has included FEMA providing $750 for folks who need immediate needs being met, such as food, baby formula, and the like. And you can apply now for anyone who's watching this who has been affected. There are FEMA personnel who are going door to door to interact personally with folks, especially those who do not have electricity. But also that aid, if you have electricity, can be applied for online, and I encourage people to do that. FEMA will just...
Now, I don't want to make light of the devastation that happened in North Carolina. A lot of people lost their lives, and if they didn't lose their lives, they've lost their livelihoods, and $750 is their consolation prize. But here's the crazy thing. Why is Kamala Harris there? How many times have we had a catastrophic event and the vice president shows up to save the day? It's just another disgusting PR stunt. Where is our president?
I'll tell you what I find suspicious as that one of the areas affected by Hurricane Helene is the world's largest lithium deposit, and the DoD just entered into an agreement with this company right here to mine lithium for electric cars starting in 2025. Now that area is completely devastated. This is a $90 million agreement between the DoD and this company right here to get Kings Mountain, North Carolina lithium mine up and running by 2030. If that area has been inundated, is in a disaster zone, then the government can come in and do eminent domain, and they can pay you what it was worth 5 years ago rather than what it's worth right now. Imagine that your home has turned into a watery lot and the government comes to you and says, hey, I'll pay you what you paid for it. You're gonna take it and you're gonna go, right? What do you think is going to happen right here now that they want this lithium mine up and running by 2025, 2030 at the latest? Back in 1947, we had the Florida-Georgia hurricane, or Hurricane 9, and it was the first hurricane to be targeted for weather modification. What happened was General Electric, the U.S. Navy, the Army, the Air Force, they poured dry ice into this hurricane using airplanes to see what would happen. Would they slow it down? Well, what happened was it slowed down a little bit, but it turned west really sharp. Let me show you. This is the path that the hurricane took in 1947. Does it look similar to you? Probably not. It's a coincidence, right? Moving on. I'm sure this is just another coincidence, but do you know who owns the most shares in that lithium mine? BlackRock and Vanguard.
Okay, so I had to pull at least one crazy conspiracy theory out of this whole North Carolina tragedy. And that is an interesting set of facts, isn't it?
How many clues do you need to confirm that this guy, who's not a doctor, wants to depopulate the planet? First, from his own mouth.
Now, the world today has 6.8 billion people. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
Now look at his latest product. It's called Appeal. It's like a wax coating that goes on fruits and vegetables for them to last longer. First, you can't wash it off, and according to their own documentation, you can find traces of arsenic, lead, and mercury on their products. What? So the same guy who says he wants to depopulate is deeply invested in abortions, deeply invested in vaccines, and he's now putting arsenic in the food supply. He doesn't believe in planting trees.
I don't plant trees.
He wants your food to be grown in a lab with God knows what, and he wants to block out the sun. I mean, who is this guy?
I mean, are we the science people or are we the idiots? Which one do we want to be?
Yeah, I don't trust Bill Gates, especially since he's buying up all this farmland and pushing all of this produce-based stuff. Something's going on there.
Today, my 17-year-old daughter was pulled out of class and was told she needed to register to vote. Not only was she told how to register, she was told who she should vote for. I am her mother, and I have yet to have this conversation with her about the upcoming election. I have not signed any consent forms telling y'all that my daughter can register to vote at school.
That was a very interesting situation. It was actually a longer video where she goes in to talk to this person who registered the daughter to vote. And the woman's like, no, we just had a conversation. Then they brought the daughter in. The daughter's like, I was just going, right. Yeah, right. While the teacher or this administrator, whoever it was influencing the child in which way to vote. That is absolutely incredible.
Right, so get a load of this. So this is an unopened package of bacon, right? I think we can all agree that that is unopened, okay? So it says that it's 12 ounces. I picked it up and I was like, okay. I mean, I know these usually come in a pound, but I got the 12 ounce instead. It was like $4. So I was just curious. So let's see. Because I know everybody keeps saying that we're not getting screwed, but look at that. That's with the package. Hold on. So you can see it coming out of the package, because I know everybody thinks that these are fake. This is not fake. Okay, so this is the bacon that just came out. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 slices in this thing. Okay, let's see how much it weighs. It says that it's 12 ounces, but we saw that it can't possibly be. It is 7 ounces. So shrinkflation isn't real, and they're not scamming us. Right.
Walmart's been doing a lot of creative marketing, right? Remember when it used to be a pound, 16 ounces for $4.99, right? Now it's 12 ounces for $4. And it's not even actually 12 ounces, it's 7. Come on, Walmart. Hey, thanks so much for stopping by today. If you're having a good time, won't you hit that like button for me? And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Welcome to my new subscribers. And for those of you that have been here for a while, welcome back. Don't forget to check back tomorrow because I'm making a new episode every day.
In the isolated condition. Here is the plan of the experiment. The arterial pump takes arterial blood from the reservoir to the head, while the venous pump drains off the venous blood. The blood is arterialized in the reservoir, where there is a steady flow of oxygen. The artificial blood circulation ensures the metabolism necessary for the life of the head. The isolated head lives on for hours and reacts to external stimuli. The isolated head even reacts to light and to sound.
I don't like that. As a dog lover, that just makes me sad. But there's more.
They've been removed from the animal's corpse some time after death. It has a dog's heart. It can function as well in artificial conditions as in a living organism. And for this purpose, blood is introduced into the cardiac vessels. The isolated heart beats just as it did a few hours previously in the living dog. The following experiment is conducted on lungs taken from an animal. Bellows distend the lungs and fill them with air. The venous blood is forced into the lungs by the action of the pump. The dark venous blood passes through this tube. In the lungs, it takes up oxygen and becomes arterial blood.
I understand that this type of study is necessary to understand how organs work and things like that, but It definitely makes me want to go hug my dogs a little bit more. Thank you, Randy, for this awesome clip. I really appreciate it. If there's a topic that anybody else would like me to cover, please let me know in the comments down below, and I will do my best to get it in an upcoming episode.
Messed Up Animal Experiments Throughout History, Part 2. Just a warning, this one's pretty depressing. In the 1950s, a messed up Soviet scientist pioneered organ transplants by putting two dog heads together. He basically Frankensteined the head and front legs of a puppy onto a bigger dog. He transplanted them together using vascular connections from the bigger dog host's heart. This heart pumped enough blood for both heads. When the multi-dog regained consciousness, the puppy actually yawned, and the big dog tried to shake it off. It was like, what the heck is this thing on me? For those curious, this is a picture of the experiment. Post-surgery, both dogs had their own personalities. The puppy was very playful, and the host dog was very annoyed by it. This isn't the first time he did this experiment. He mainly did it inside the Soviet Union, and it wasn't until 1959 that American scientists were even aware that he was doing this, and by then he was doing it for 5 years. Everyone was saying he was very unethical, but he did not care. A lot of his experiments are heartbreaking, unethical, and quite frankly, very messed up. He still is credited with making human organ transplantation even possible.
I'm not going to talk about gross things happening to dogs anymore. That's awful. Oh my goodness. Okay, hug your puppies. Pet them. Love them. Don't attach them to each other.
After the expansion wave in 2024, more countries are lining up to join BRICS. Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the UAE have added over $1 trillion in net worth, bringing the total annual GDP output for the 9 countries to $28.5 trillion. China accounts for around 2/3 of that GDP with $17.96 trillion. They might be the largest in terms of GDP, but they don't hold all the reins. For example, Iran, the UAE, and Saudi Arabia would hold around 44% of the world's crude oil. Plus, with the 2 most populous countries in this alliance, BRICS represents 45% of the global population, or around 3.5 billion people. And this is just the beginning.
The United States is concerned about the BRICS 2024 Games event, which will be held in Russia and attended by 97 nations. But is there anything the U.S. can do about it? This event is not just about sports. It offers 97 nations the chance to experience BRICS firsthand and potentially plan for future collaborations. Does this indicate that these 97 nations are willing to join BRICS?
There's a lot of talks about BRICS and the devaluation of the US dollar, and economics is not my strong point, but I'm trying to understand what this actually means. And it looks like they're trying to form a new superpower.
I think it may be time for the United States to worry about the nations of BRICS. So BRICS has an annual summit coming up in the next month, and they released a list of topics that they're going to be talking about during the summit. And I'm going to go through those list of topics with you because it's pretty eye-opening. And if you're not familiar with the BRICS nations, BRICS stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And they're trying to create their own currency and their own financial system to compete against the US dollar. So we can see that in less than a month, the annual BRICS summit is going to be coming around. And the main focus of it is going to be de-dollarization, like the US dollar, and alternative payment systems. So we can see that they want to create their own currency and their own payment system to cut out the United States and basically be able to do business without them. So we can see a list of some of the topics here, and this one stands out: a platform for multilateral settlements and payments in BRICS digital currencies, connecting the financial markets of BRICS members. So basically they want to use a whole new banking system separate from what the rest of the world uses so that they can trade amongst themselves. And here's some of the other topics: a blockchain-based payment system that entirely bypasses the US dollar called BRICS Pay, a settlement depository, an insurance system, much like the FDIC we have here in the United States, and crucially, a BRICS rating agency independent from the Western giants. So something outside of what we use here, like Moody's. So there you go, an entire summit dedicated to how the BRICS nations can build on their current payment system and completely cut off the Western world. And they want to do things like create digital currencies amongst themselves and be able to have their own settlement system and their own type of insurance, very similar to like what we have here in the United States, and slowly transition themselves away from the US dollar.
And us continually printing money and sending it every frickin' where else is devaluing our dollar even more. And this would just devalue it into nothingness, is what I'm assuming.
I want y'all to have a mental image of this asteroid that's coming. And this isn't to scare anybody or anything, but look how close it comes to us. Right here. And then when you go up towards the moon, they are not 100%. That's why NASA, whoever, is saying, yeah, when it gets close to us, we're going to go visit it and make sure it won't hit us.
Hold the phone. Did she just say we're going to go visit it? NASA has plans to go visit it? Is that for real?
It's day 2 of the port strike. Here in Houston, Texas, Costco, Sam's Club, and H-E-B are already out of toilet paper. Are we really doing this again? Craziness.
What is it with toilet paper hoarding? I don't understand. When COVID hit, that was the first thing to go off the shelves, was toilet paper and paper products. Why is that? That is so weird.
All right, I want y'all to prepare, but I don't want you to overreact. This toilet paper thing, why do you have to create a shortage anytime anything happens in the world? I understand that the guys that unload the boats went on strike. That's got its own ramifications, but the toilet paper ain't coming from China. That's a whole different deal. All right, they make that stuff here in America. They're gonna make enough of it, but y'all are stockpiling it. Like you can make a paper mache Taj Mahal if push comes to shove. Look here, Mr. Whipple, stop squeezing the Charmin. I need some toilet paper too, all right? CP needs the TP. And I don't know what kind of butt y'all are walking around with that's so dirty that you got to have 6 tons and 14 pallets of TP. Like, I dated a girl for 5 years, never heard her fart, so I don't know what kind of nasty ass y'all are working with. Well, you can walk outside, scoot around in the mud puddle, use your hands, some fallen leaves, or even hose yourself off in the front yard. The neighbors won't be happy, but you be clean, all right? Just call it a redneck bidet. A redneck boudet. A bidet for your boudet. But seriously, leave a little something on the shelf for the rest of us, all right? Because we don't always prepare for this stuff.
Just needed a little comic relief in there. This port situation is really an issue, but not for the toilet paper, people. Not for the toilet paper.
What you know now, do you wish like you had a third term? And I used to say, you know what, if I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony.
Wow. Interesting you should say that, because there was this little bit that's been brought up as well.
Was Kamala Harris wearing audio earrings during the presidential debate? That's what some social media users are accusing her of, claiming that Kamala could have broken debate rules by wearing an earpiece disguised as a pair of earrings. Some have even gone as far as finding a specific similar-looking earpiece that's been featured in tech articles, but there is no evidence to indicate this is the case, even if social media believes it. And one user even found a pair of ordinary Tiffany earrings which also look identical to the ones Kamala wore.
Seems a little suspicious. What do you think? Do you think she was wearing an earpiece, and do you think Obama's the puppet master?
Everything was going pretty well for me until the last couple days. Since then, my sleep schedule has done a complete flippity-doo. My anxiety was going like this. Now it's through the roof. And I'm wondering if it's because of this thing. This asteroid that's caught in Earth's gravitational pull, rotating around the Earth, that they're calling a second moon. The reason I'm wondering if that has something to do with it is when we get a full moon, this is how I usually feel. Not to this extreme extent, but yeah, my sleep schedule gets messed up and my anxiety goes through the roof. And this time, my sleep, my anxiety, and other stuff didn't correspond with a full moon, but it corresponded with a second moon. So my question is it just me? Because it could be just me. Or is anybody else out there, anybody watching this video, had problems sleeping in the past 2-3 days, anxiety up in the past 2-3 days, just feeling kind of in the past 2-3 days? And if you are feeling this way like I am, do you think it could have something to do with this thing? Let me know if you are or you're not. And the way to let me know is in the comment section, Booshkies. Shabadoo!
Personally, I've noticed zero difference, mainly because I don't really think about it in any way other than, okay, cool. But some people, I guess, they really have a lot invested in this second moon, or this rock orbiting our planet real quick, and it does weigh on the mind a bit. Anybody else notice any differences?
That of a secret government, accountable to not a single elected official, including apparently the president himself. A shadowy government with its own Air Force, its own Navy, its own fundraising mechanism, and the ability to pursue its own ideas of the national interest, free from all checks and balances, and free from the law itself. It is an elitist vision of government that trusts no one, not the people, not the Congress, and not the cabinet. It is a vision of a government operated by persons convinced they have a monopoly on truth.
It's been known for a long time that there is definitely a shadow government actually running the show. Like right now. Where is our president? What's going on? Who's taking control of things?
I'm watching Demolition Man, and they said something. Sandra Bullock said something that kind of raised my eyebrow. Now, mind you, this video is from 1996, I believe. And in this video, they're portraying to be in the quote-unquote future, like 2032 or something like that. Something or another. But they're in the future. But listen to this. This is in 96 when they made this movie. Check this out.
I've been an enthusiast of your escapades for quite some time now. I have in fact perused some newsreels from the Schwarzenegger library, and that time that you took that car.
Hold it. The Schwarzenegger library?
Yes, the Schwarzenegger Presidential Library. Wasn't he an actor when you...
Stop, he was president?
Yes. Even though he was not born in this country, his popularity at the time caused the 61st Amendment, which states that...
I don't want to know.
It's crazy. Like, although he wasn't president, he was still the governor in Los Angeles. And what's crazy is in this movie, they're in what used to be Los Angeles. How would they possibly know this in 1996? This goes to show that the world is just some big stage. We're all actors in it, man.
It really is fascinating how many facts are pulled from movies that happened a while ago, how much Hollywood puts this right in front of our face like they know what's going to happen. But if Arnold Schwarzenegger runs for president, I don't know what I'm going to do. That would be an interesting thing, huh? On that note, I'm going to call it for today. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. Please come on back tomorrow. We're going to watch some new stuff. I'll say different things, and it's going to be fantastic. Until then, have a wonderful day.